Let's talk about what happens when the future and the present collide in the exact same place, on the exact same day. We're zooming in on January 30th, 2026, in one of America's most critical economic zones, the San Pedro Bay. And on this day, two wildly different realities were playing out, literally miles apart. One was a story of billion-dollar tech and global ambition. The other, a story of protest, community, and disruption, right there on the streets.
Okay, so let's just break this down because this slide really gets to the heart of it. On one hand, you have almost $150 million in futuristic capital being poured into the area. And on the other, just a stone's throw away, a grassroots national shutdown is bringing everyday life to a screeching halt. It's this crazy split-screen reality, a tale of two bays, happening at the very same time. All right, first up, let's pull the camera way back. Let's get that 30,000-foot view. We're talking about the huge, long-term investments that are shaping the future of the entire San Pedro Bay region. Think big money, big plans, think decades down the line. So, the big headline, the one grabbing all the attention in the business world? It's this number. A local company, Northwood Space, right there in Torrance, just landed a massive financial windfall. And look, this isn't just some small investment. This is a huge signal that this region is a serious global player in the new space race. So how'd they pull this off? Well, it wasn't just one thing. It was a simultaneous one-two punch, $100 million from some of the heaviest hitters in private venture capital, and at the same time, almost $50 million from the U.S. Space Force. Getting that double seal of approval, that tells you everyone, from the market to the military, has massive confidence in what these guys are building. And this is where it gets really interesting. This is the core of their entire strategy. They're basically betting that the next space race isn't going to be won with bigger rockets. No, it's going to be won by controlling the ground layer, all the essential stuff right here on Earth that you need to talk to and control everything we've put up in orbit. The most important choke point for space is actually on the ground. And that focus on mission-critical infrastructure, it doesn't stop with space. I mean, you can't talk about this region without talking about its absolute economic heart, the gigantic twin ports of Los Angeles and Long Beach. This is the front door for America's trade with Asia. And just look at the sheer scale we're talking about here. In 2025, these two ports moved almost 20 million of those giant shipping containers. It's just mind-boggling. And they are not slowing down. As you can see, Long Beach wants to double its capacity by 2050, and they're backing it up with over $3 billion in upgrades. And you know, it's not just cargo that's getting bigger and more efficient. Even the way they give back to the community is going high-tech. The Port of LA just rolled out a new digital platform to make it easier to give millions to local nonprofits. But while the port was using technology to connect with the community, a totally different kind of connection was forming down on the streets. Okay, so we've seen the big picture. Now let's completely switch gears. We're going to zoom all the way in, right down to the street level, and see what this exact same day felt like for the people actually living and working there. The rallying cry for the day was this: no work, no school, no shopping. That was the call to action for a coordinated protest called the National Shutdown. The goal was to bring daily life to a standstill, to make a powerful statement through economic silence. And the effect was felt everywhere, right away. You had small businesses in San Pedro, like the San Pedro Soapworks, shutting down in solidarity. Over in Long Beach, hundreds of kids from Cabrillo, Millikan, and Wilson High walked right out of class. The protest got so big that even federal bankruptcy courts in LA had to close up shop early. And it was all in response to federal immigration enforcement activities. And at the very same time, another kind of disruption was hitting the local scene. This one wasn't from a protest, though. It was a top-down decision from one of the biggest companies on the planet, and it had a direct impact on these neighborhoods. Yep, Amazon announced it's pulling the plug on its high-tech Amazon Fresh and Go grocery stores, including key spots in Long Beach and Torrance. They basically admitted, hey, this experiment didn't work. And the immediate result for the community? Empty storefronts at busy intersections and a lot of questions about where people are going to get their groceries. So this all leads us to the perfect flashpoint, the place where these huge, big money plans literally slam into the local community's sense of self. And that battleground? It's the waterfront.
you can actually see a full-blown rivalry starting to brew. On one side, you've got San Pedro moving ahead with its massive West Harbor development, which includes a brand new amphitheater. But then, bam, the Port of Long Beach announces it's backing a competing venue just down the road, and it's almost double the size. It's an arms race for who's going to own entertainment in the South Bay.
But, as all this money and development gets thrown around, you hear things like this. This comment was from a San Pedro local online, and it just says it all, right? It captures this deep-seated feeling that these shiny new projects might look great on a blueprint, but they don't reflect the authentic, working-class soul of the place. It raises the question, who are these places really for?
So when you step back and you look at all the chaotic, contradictory pieces from this one single day, what does it all mean? What does it tell us about where this region is headed?
Well, it's pretty clear you've got a region being pulled in 4 different directions at once. You've got this massive wave of global money flooding in for space tech and port expansion. At the exact same time, you have this powerful local voice rising up from the streets. Then you've got these corporate giants making moves that change neighborhoods overnight. And underneath it all is this constant tug of war over what this place should even be.
And that leaves us with the big, lingering question. As the ports and the tech companies build out their grand visions for the year 2050, who is the San Pedro Bay of today, of 2026, really for? How these powerful, competing forces find a way to coexist, or not, is going to define the future of this vital American region.